I sat across from Lena at our usual café, hands trembling slightly as I unfolded my notebook. My heart raced, not from the coffee, but from the idea I'd been nurturing for months. Lena, I've been working on something. I think it could actually change how people manage their daily tasks, I said, trying to sound confident. She tilted her head, smirk playing on her lips. Oh. Let's hear it then. Don't tell me you've become one of those startup fanatics. I'm serious, I insisted. Imagine an app that doesn't just organize your calendar, but predicts your energy levels, suggests the best times for each task, and adapts based on your habits. It learns from you, almost like it knows you. She raised an eyebrow, leaning back in her chair. Wait, are you serious? You actually think people would pay for that? That it's useful? Yes. I blurted, a little too loud. It's practical, it's smart, and it's something no one else has done yet. Lena laughed, that sharp, unfiltered laugh that always cut through me like ice. Oh my God, you're delusional. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You really think you can build that? Do you even know how much work that would take? You'd be better off, I don't know, opening a lemonade stand. I froze, the heat rushing to my face. I can figure it out. I'm capable. I've already sketched some prototypes. Prototypes, she scoffed, glancing at my notebook. Those doodles don't impress anyone. Honestly, I don't know why I'm wasting my time listening to this. You're just chasing a fantasy. I swallowed hard, gripping the edge of the table. I'm not chasing a fantasy, Lena. I believe in this. I really do. She leaned forward, eyes glinting with amusement. Belief doesn't pay the bills, darling. And it certainly doesn't make you realistic. You're always dreaming, aren't you? I started, but the words stuck. How could I explain the fire burning inside me when she treated it like a joke? She chuckled again. I mean, I love you, but seriously, this is foolish. You could be so much more practical. Stop wasting your energy on something that will never work. I bit my lip, the sting of humiliation worse than I expected. My chest tightened. Part of me wanted to defend every single idea, to scream, to make her see, but instead I just nodded. Yeah, maybe you're right, I mumbled, though the words tasted like poison. Finally, some honesty, she said, smiling smugly. See? You can be reasonable when you try. I forced a smile, but inside, something hardened. I watched her sip her latte, oblivious to the storm building in me. Fine, I thought. You think I'm foolish? Go ahead. Laugh. I'll show you. The humiliation twisted into determination. I wouldn't let her judgment define me. I wouldn't let anyone else's doubt stop me. My idea wasn't just a dream anymore, it was a mission. I'll figure it out, I whispered, almost to myself. Even if you never believe in me, I'll prove it works. I'll prove myself. She tilted her head again, smirking. Good luck with that. I packed up my notebook, my hands steady now, heart racing with a different energy, one that didn't need her approval. As I walked out of the café, I whispered under my breath, watch me. Every doubt, every laugh, every word she said, it became fuel. I didn't just want to succeed, I wanted to rise past her, past the ridicule. And I knew, deep down, that I would. The fire inside me wasn't going to fade. Not now, not ever. I stared at the rejection letter from the bank, my fingers numb from holding it too tightly. They don't get it, I muttered under my breath. They just don't get it. Sammy, leaning against the doorway of my small apartment, snorted. Wow. I didn't know banks could be that rude. Or maybe they just read your ideas and laughed too. I shot him a glare. Very funny. You know I'm serious about this. Yeah, he said, smirking. Serious. Like the time you tried to sell that smart pen idea to your teacher in 10th grade. Remember that? I clenched my jaw. That was different. This is real. This can actually work. Sammy shrugged, leaning on the counter. Hey, I'm just saying, you have faith, I get it. But sometimes faith needs money. And money isn't exactly lining up to say hi. I ran a hand through my hair, staring at the crumpled rejection letter again. Maybe Lena was right. Maybe it's foolish to even try. Sammy tilted his head. Whoa. Don't start going soft on me now. You're not that guy. I don't know, I muttered, pacing the room. Every door I try, it slams in my face. Everyone says no. At that moment, my phone buzzed. A message from Arjun, coffee. 10 minutes. We talk. I hesitated, then grabbed my jacket. Arjun had been my mentor since I timidly emailed him for advice weeks ago. I wasn't sure what he'd say this time, whether it'd be tough love or more encouragement. We met at a quiet café, the smell of roasted beans filling the air. Arjun smiled as I slid into the chair across from him. Rough day? He asked, eyes sharp but kind. I slumped. They all rejected me. Investors, banks, even my friends think I'm chasing a pipe dream. Maybe I am. Arjun leaned back, folding his hands. Do you think the world rewards people who give up because someone laughed at them? No, I whispered. But it feels impossible. Impossible doesn't mean wrong, he said calmly. The world laughs at those who dare, but it applauds the survivors. You want applause? You have to keep going. I stared at him, trying to absorb the weight of his words. But, every step feels like I'm sinking deeper. Every rejection, it hurts. Arjun nodded. Good. Pain is part of growth. Every failure teaches you something. Every no is a lesson wrapped in disguise. The question is, will you learn it, or let it break you? I clenched my fists, my chest tight. I wanted to argue, to protest, but something in his calm tone cut through the doubt. I don't want to break. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Arjun smiled faintly. You're stronger than you think. Remember why you started. Remember that fire inside you. The kind of people who succeed aren't the ones with everything handed to them, they're the ones who keep moving when the world says stop. I nodded slowly, my heartbeat finally slowing. Okay. I'll try again. I'll keep going. Sammy's words echoed in my head, though not mocking this time. Faith needs money. I looked around at my small apartment, at my empty wallet, at the countless sketches and notes scattered across the table. I have nothing. But I can start small. I can figure it out. Arjun leaned forward. Exactly. Small steps, every day. Find people who believe, even if it's just one. Build momentum. You'll be amazed at what happens when you refuse to quit. I nodded again, a spark of determination flickering inside me. I'll do it. No matter what. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Good. That's all I needed to hear. As I left the cafe, I felt a mix of fear and excitement. The road ahead was rough, full of rejection and doubt. But for the first time that day, I didn't feel small. I felt capable. Sammy caught up with me outside, smirking. So, Mr. Pipe Dream, ready to conquer the world? I laughed despite myself. Yeah. Mr. Skeptic, watch me. Even with every setback, every snide comment, and every rejection, I felt a fire inside me I couldn't ignore. Lena's laugh, the bank's rejection, Sammy's jokes, they were all fuel. And I wasn't done yet. I was just getting started. The night felt endless, but I couldn't stop. My laptop glowed like a lifeline in the dark apartment. Fingers numb, eyes strained, I kept typing, testing, rewriting. Every line of code, every tweak, every late-night idea felt like a step closer to proving Lena wrong. "Hey, still at it?" a voice said behind me. I jumped and almost spilled my coffee. I turned. Nadia stood there, arms crossed, one eyebrow raised. "You're insane," she said, though her smile softened the accusation. "I have to get this right," I muttered. I can't fail." Nadia stepped closer, peering at my screen. "I can see that. But you look like you're about to pass out. Even geniuses need sleep, you know." "I don't have time for sleep," I snapped, more defensively than I meant. "Every hour I waste is a chance for someone else to beat me." Lena, she interrupted gently. "Stop thinking about her. You're building this for you, not to prove anything to her." I froze, then sighed. "It's hard not to." She laughed at me. Called me foolish. Nadia crouched beside me, scanning the lines of code. "And yet here you are. Look at this." She pointed at the small window on my screen. "It works. The prototype actually works." I stared at it, disbelief warring with pride. I did it. You did. See? You were never foolish." Her tone carried more warmth than I expected. "You just needed to trust yourself." I leaned back, rubbing my eyes. "It's just the beginning. There's still so much to do." "I know," Nadia said. "But celebrate this small win. One step at a time, okay?" I nodded, though inside, the fire was burning brighter than ever. Lena's laugh, the doubts, the rejections, they all felt like fuel now. Each small victory reminded me that my vision mattered, even if no one else saw it yet. A week later, I was pitching to anyone who would listen, friends, family, even strangers at a co-working space. "It adapts to you," I explained again and again. "It learns from your habits. It helps you work smarter, not harder." One night, after a particularly grueling pitch session, I slumped into my chair. "I'm going in circles," I admitted to Nadia over the phone. "No one cares about what I'm doing." "Don't say that," she said firmly. "You're building something real. You just haven't found the right people yet. Patience." I ran a hand through my hair. "I thought the first prototype would impress someone, at least. I thought that they'd see what you see," Nadia finished. "I get it. But sometimes the world takes its sweet time recognizing genius. That doesn't mean it isn't there." Her words echoed in my head long after the call ended. I sat in silence, staring at my prototype, letting it sink in. I'm not foolish. I'm not dreaming without reason. I'm creating something real. The next day, I coded until my hands cramped, then worked odd jobs in between to keep the bills paid. Coffee became my closest friend. Every late-night session, every cold instant meal, every moment of exhaustion reminded me that I was building something that mattered, to me, and eventually to the world. One evening, Nadia showed up at my door, carrying a small box. "I figured you could use some encouragement," she said. I looked inside, printed screenshots of my app running perfectly, notes on what worked and what didn't, ideas for next steps. "You did this for me?" "Of course," she said, shrugging. "I believe in you. Someone has to." I felt a lump in my throat. I don't know what to say." "Say you're going to keep going," she teased. "Say it like you mean it." I straightened, meeting her eyes. "I'm going to keep going. No matter what." She smiled, nodding. "Good. That's the fire I wanted to see. Don't let anyone snuff it out, not Lena, not the banks, not even the doubts in your own head." Her words lit something inside me I hadn't felt since that café with Lena. Confidence. Purpose. Determination. The prototype wasn't just a success, it was proof that I could overcome everything, starting with my own insecurities. Days turned into weeks, and the prototype improved. I tested, I failed, I tested again. Every small success was a reminder that my ideas weren't foolish, they were mine. Every line of code, every little breakthrough was a step toward redemption, toward proving that Lena's laughter meant nothing compared to my drive. Late one night, after successfully integrating a predictive algorithm into the app, I leaned back and whispered to myself, "Watch me. I'm not foolish. Not anymore." Nadia, watching me quietly from the corner, didn't need to say anything. I could see her approval in her eyes, and that alone gave me more strength than I could have imagined. For the first time, I believed, not because anyone else said I could, but because I had seen it with my own eyes. I was rising from the ashes. I was scrolling through my feed when it hit me, Lena. Her face, smiling in a perfectly polished photo, announcing her new company. My stomach twisted. Sammy leaned over my shoulder. "Who's this smiling genius now?" he asked, nodding at the screen. "That's Lena," I said through gritted teeth. "She started her own company. And guess what? It's kind of in the same field." Sammy whistled. "Wow. So she's actually doing it. I mean, congrats, I guess." I slammed my laptop shut, more out of frustration than anything else. I can't believe this. She's out there, acting like she's already succeeded while I've been struggling every single day. "Maybe she is good at this," Sammy said cautiously. "Or maybe she's lucky. Don't let it get to you." I paced the room. "Lucky?" "She called me foolish, Sammy. She laughed at me when I said I could do this. And now she's smiling in some press photo, acting like she's better than me." Sammy shrugged. "People change, man. Maybe she's not thinking about the past. Maybe she's just moving on." I shook my head. "She doesn't even remember laughing at me, but I remember every word. Every single word she said. And now I see her living it, while I'm still climbing from the bottom." Sammy raised an eyebrow. "So, what do you want to do? Sit here and stew, or focus on your own grind?" I muttered, staring at the floor. "I don't know. Part of me wants to. I don't know, get back at her. Make her see that she underestimated me. But another part says focus on what I'm building, not her." Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a notification about Lena's company hiring. I clicked through, and there he was, Mark. Her new colleague. Confident, polished, standing next to her in every picture, smiling like he's in on the joke she's winning at life. I clenched my fists. Who does he think he is? Why does she need him to look impressive? Sammy smirked. Maybe he's just her assistant. Or maybe, he's part of the act. Either way, doesn't matter. You're doing your own thing. I know. I know, I said, but the jealousy lingered like smoke. I couldn't help it. Seeing them together, her looking so confident, it gnawed at me. Later that night, I sat alone, staring at my screen. I tried to focus on my code, my app, my prototype, but every click echoed her smile, every idea I typed was haunted by the memory of her ridicule. I can't let her affect me like this, I muttered aloud, shaking my head. I can't. She's not supposed to matter anymore. But deep down, I felt it, anger, jealousy, betrayal. I remembered sitting in that café, hands shaking, heart pounding, her laughter slicing through me. And now, months later, it felt like the echo was still there, mocking me. I ran a hand through my hair. Do I want revenge? Do I want to show her I was right? Sammy's words earlier came back, focus on your own grind. I knew he was right. Chasing revenge might feel good for a moment, but it wouldn't build my company. It wouldn't prove anything to myself. I exhaled slowly. Okay. I focus on my growth. On my work. That's the only way I get past this. I can't let her shadow my fire. Still, I couldn't help thinking of Mark. He's part of her, her image. He's boosting her confidence. That annoys me more than anything. I laughed bitterly. I'm jealous. I hate that I'm jealous. But maybe I can use it. Let it drive me. Not for revenge, not for her. For me. To be better. To be unstoppable. I opened my laptop again, fingers hovering above the keys. The screen glowed like a challenge. Every line of code, every tweak, every test could be my answer, not to her, not to Mark, but to myself. She doesn't get to define me, I whispered. Her laughter, her confidence, Mark, none of it. I define me. I leaned into the glow of the screen, typing furiously, letting the anger, the jealousy, the betrayal fuel me. Each keystroke was a promise, I wasn't going to just catch up. I was going to surpass them all. Betrayal's echo still lingered, yes, but instead of breaking me, it became a drumbeat, a rhythm pushing me forward. I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. The email blinked at me like a warning siren. My heart stopped for a moment, then raced uncontrollably. After reviewing your latest projections, we're reconsidering our investment. Please confirm whether you'd like to continue discussions. I read it again, hoping the words would change. They didn't. I slammed my laptop shut. No, this can't be happening, I muttered, pacing the small office I had converted from my living room. Nadia appeared behind me, her expression calm but sharp. What's wrong? They're pulling out, I said, voice tight. The investor, they're leaving. After all the work, all the progress, gone. Nadia crossed her arms. Then what do you do? What do I do? I echoed, bewildered. I can't lose this. I can't. If they pull out, I'll have nothing left. Nothing. You'll have your work, she said firmly. And your vision. Do you quit now, or do you show them what you're made of? I froze, her words hitting me like a jolt. Show them, what I'm made of. Yes, she said, eyes steady. You fight. You push harder. You don't let a temporary scare define your journey. You either fold or rise. It's your choice. I sank into my chair, burying my face in my hands. Doubt clawed at me. Every failed pitch, every sleepless night, every bank rejection, they all surged back, whispering that I wasn't good enough, that maybe Lena had been right. Nadia crouched beside me, resting a hand on my shoulder. Remember why you started this. Remember the fire. This is not about proving anyone else wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you don't give up. I lifted my head, staring at the ceiling. I don't know if I can. I feel like everything's slipping through my fingers. You can, she said softly but firmly. I've seen you work nights without sleep, struggle through endless obstacles, and still keep going. That's not a person who quits. I swallowed hard, clenching my fists. You really think I can turn this around? I don't think, she said. I know. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the ticking clock and my racing heartbeat. Slowly, I leaned over my laptop, opening the projection files again. Lines of numbers, charts, and designs blurred before my eyes, but instead of despair, I felt something else, a spark. A determination I hadn't fully realized. I'm not just doing this for money, I whispered to myself. I'm not just doing this for investors. Not just, for Lena. Nadia glanced at me, reading my thoughts. Go on. Say it. Not just success, I muttered, feeling the words gather strength. But vindication. Nadia's lips curved into a small smile. Good. Now go show them. Show yourself. I pushed away from the chair and started working, fingers flying across the keyboard, eyes scanning every line of code, every financial projection. Every detail had to be perfect. Every pitch had to convince, not just the investors, but me. Sammy's voice echoed from our last conversation, faith needs money. I ignored the sting and let it fuel me. Every calculation, every tweak, every late-night note was a step toward proving that my vision mattered. Hours passed. The apartment blurred into darkness outside, the glow of the laptop my only companion. This isn't just about them, I whispered, pausing to sip lukewarm coffee. This is about me. I'm not giving up. Nadia appeared again, quietly observing my relentless focus. You're going to get through this, she said. I know it. Just keep going. Don't let doubt win. I won't, I replied firmly. I can't. Too much is at stake. And I need to prove I'm not foolish. I need to prove that every word Lena said doesn't define me. She nodded, a silent affirmation of my commitment. The night stretched into early morning. I barely noticed the hours slipping by as I refined the pitch deck, improved the prototype, and rehearsed every possible question. The fear of failure lingered, but it was overpowered by determination. Every failure, every setback, every moment of doubt became fuel. By the time dawn crept through the blinds, I leaned back in my chair, exhausted but alive with purpose. I knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Investors could still doubt me, banks could still reject me, Lena could still laugh from afar, but I wasn't going to stop. I whispered to the empty room, this time. I fight. I don't just survive. I rise. Nadia smiled quietly from the doorway. That's the fire I wanted to see. Now, let's show them what you're made of. I nodded, determination coiling like steel inside me. This wasn't just a battle for funding. It was a battle for me, my vision, my pride, my future. And I was ready to fight with everything I had. I was sipping my third cup of coffee when my phone buzzed with a notification. I barely glanced at it at first, until I saw the headline. Lena Tech faces major setback after poor decisions, investors panic. I froze, the mug halfway to my lips. My first thought was disbelief. Then, shock. And finally, a slow, creeping sense of vindication. Sammy leaned over my shoulder, eyes scanning the screen. Whoa, that's her company. I nodded, feeling an odd mix of disbelief and something darker. Yeah. Looks like she messed up. Big time. Sammy smirked. I hate to say it, but it's kind of satisfying. I swallowed hard, guilt prickling at me. I shouldn't. I mean, it's not my victory. I didn't do this. But, my voice trailed off, leaving the unfinished thought hanging. Tempted to gloat, huh? Sammy asked knowingly. I exhaled sharply. I can't help it. I wanted so badly to prove her wrong, and now. I'm watching karma unfold. But should I say anything? Should I intervene? Sammy shook his head. Nah. Let it play out. You focus on your work. That's what'll matter in the end. I stared at the article, reading the details, investors pulling out, staff leaving in frustration, public criticism mounting. Lena's confidence in her carefully polished image was crumbling, and the person who had once made me feel foolish now looked small from the outside. A part of me wanted to call her. To say, remember me? Remember what you said? But another, stronger part of me stopped. No. That wasn't me. That wasn't the fire I'd built for myself. This was hers to face, her own decisions coming back to her. I leaned back in my chair, running a hand through my hair. I should feel better. But it feels complicated. I don't want to be petty. I want this to mean something real. Just then, my phone buzzed again. Arjun. I picked up. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual. Hey, he replied. Saw the news about Lena Tech. Must be interesting for you. I exhaled slowly. Interesting? That's one way to put it. Honestly, I don't know what to feel. Satisfaction? Relief? Or guilt? Arjun chuckled softly. The temptation to gloat is natural. But let me ask you something, what do you want? Revenge? Or success that speaks for itself? I hesitated. I think I want to prove myself. To be better, to show that I can succeed despite what she said, despite everything. Exactly, Arjun said firmly. Success speaks louder than revenge. Karma is unfolding whether you meddle or not. Your job is to keep building, keep growing, keep moving forward. That's your power. That's the real win. I nodded, absorbing his words. You're right. I don't need to gloat. I don't need to intervene. Just, watch and learn from it. Exactly, he said. Let her mistakes be a reminder, not a weapon. Focus on what you can control. I hung up, staring at my laptop screen again. Lena's failures were loud in the headlines, but my own growth felt louder inside me. The prototype improvements, investor interest, and recognition my team had gained were mine, earned, hard-fought, authentic. I turned to Nadia, who was quietly reviewing some analytics beside me. You see this? I asked, showing her the article. She glanced at it and raised an eyebrow. Yeah. Sounds like she's hitting a wall. I sighed. Part of me. I want to feel satisfaction. But I know it's not really mine to claim. Nadia nodded. Exactly. You earned your success. Don't let hers distract you. Her downfall doesn't make your rise any smaller, it's your own achievements that count. I leaned back, letting the tension in my shoulders ease slightly. It's just, strange. All those nights, all that ridicule, and now she's struggling. I don't feel the joy I expected. Because it's not about her, Nadia said softly. It's about you. Your fire. Your growth. That's what matters. I nodded slowly, letting her words sink in. My hand hovered over the keyboard, fingers itching to dive into my next project. Lena's misstep didn't define me, but it reminded me of the journey I'd endured, the nights I stayed up coding, the rejections I weathered, the doubts I conquered. I whispered to myself, almost like a vow, I won't be distracted. I won't gloat. I'll let my work speak louder than anyone's laughter, louder than any setback, louder than her mistakes. Sammy leaned over again, smirking. You sound like a monk or something. I chuckled, a small, genuine laugh. Maybe. Or maybe I just know that the only revenge worth having is living well. Doing it right. Doing it better. And in that moment, watching the headlines, feeling the tension in my chest slowly shift into determination, I realized something important. Karma was playing its part, sure. But my story, my rise, was still being written. And I was holding the pen. I closed the article and opened my code. Fingers flying, mind focused, heart steady. Lena's setbacks could wait. My future couldn't. This was my time. My work. My vindication. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or slam the door when I saw her name on the schedule. Lena. The woman who had called me foolish, laughed at my ideas, and watched me claw my way forward while she did, whatever she had been doing. My phone buzzed. A meeting reminder, Lena, partnership discussion. I stared at it, feeling a storm of conflicting emotions. Pride. Anger. Satisfaction. And curiosity. Sammy appeared behind me, noticing my frozen expression. You're really going to meet her? I have to, I said slowly. This could change everything. But I don't know if I'm ready for her. You've come a long way, he said. Don't let her past arrogance control this. I nodded, though my stomach knotted. The conference room door opened, and she walked in, Lena, looking smaller somehow, humility replacing her usual smirk. Her hair was pulled back, her posture careful. She met my gaze and hesitated before speaking. I underestimated you, she began. I need your help. I raised an eyebrow. Help? Really? After everything you said? Her eyes flicked down, then back up at me. I made mistakes. Bad ones. I thought I could do it all alone. But now, I see that I can't. You've built something real. Something impressive. I leaned back, arms crossed. Impressive, huh? Funny, I remember you calling it foolish. But now it's worth your attention. She flinched, but nodded. I know. I can't undo the past. I can only ask, professionally, for a partnership. Your terms. I'll follow them. No interference, no drama. Just business. I sat silently, letting the weight of her words sink in. Part of me wanted to say, now it's your turn to grovel. Another part knew this was the moment I had worked for. The power had shifted. Nadia's voice echoed in my memory, success speaks louder than revenge. I cleared my throat. All right. Let's be clear. This isn't personal. It's business. And business has rules. My terms are strict. She nodded eagerly. I understand. I'll accept anything. I smirked, feeling the strange thrill of control. First, no involvement in our operational decisions. You provide resources, funding, and marketing support, but I keep creative and strategic control. Agreed, she said quickly. Absolutely. Whatever you say. Second, transparency. I want full access to your company's numbers, timelines, and actions related to this partnership. No surprises. No tricks. Her eyes flickered, hesitation for the briefest moment, then she nodded. Understood. Complete transparency. Third, I continued, leaning forward slightly, enjoying the tension, any public communication about our partnership goes through me first. I decide how our brand is presented. No exceptions. She swallowed hard. Of course. Fair. Completely fair. I paused, letting the silence stretch. Her humility was, almost disarming, but I kept my face neutral. I wasn't here to punish her. I was here to protect what I had built. Finally, I added, and last, I want a clear exit clause. If you or your company jeopardize this project, the partnership ends immediately. No negotiations. No appeals. She nodded again, voice barely above a whisper. I accept. I can live with that. I leaned back in my chair, feeling a mixture of relief and triumph. The power had shifted. For the first time in our history, she was asking me, not the other way around. I have to admit, I said slowly, it's strange seeing you like this. Humble. Asking. No arrogance. No smirk. Just business. She gave a small, self-conscious smile. I've learned. The hard way. And I respect what you've built. More than I can say. I studied her for a long moment, weighing my own emotions. Anger. Pride. Satisfaction. They all swirled together. Finally, I said, then let's make this work. Professionally. But don't expect any shortcuts. I earned this, Lena. Every step. And now, you're just along for the ride, if you can follow. Yes, she said softly. I'll follow. I promise. No interference, no past mistakes. Just partnership. I leaned back again, letting the tension ease slightly. Good. Then let's start planning. You bring your resources, I bring the vision. Together, we'll see if we can make this bigger than either of us imagined. She nodded, a hint of relief and gratitude in her eyes. I won't let you down. I'll prove that I can be trusted. I allowed a faint smile. I'll be watching, Lena. But, if you stick to the rules, this could be mutually beneficial. The meeting continued, filled with detailed negotiation, resource allocation, timelines, and responsibilities. Every question, every clarification, every decision was mine to steer. And for the first time, I felt the full weight of my own growth, the confidence, the experience, the authority I had built from scratch. By the time we concluded, Lena stood and extended her hand. Thank you. For giving me a chance. I shook it firmly. Just remember, it's business. Nothing more, nothing less. And this time, I call the shots. She nodded, swallowing whatever pride remained. I understand. Completely. As she left the room, I sat back, letting the quiet settle. The power dynamic had shifted. I wasn't the one dismissed anymore. I was the one who decided. And for the first time in a long time, I felt the full taste of control. Lena sat across from me, hands folded, eyes wide but careful. The room felt smaller than usual, charged with the tension between past and present. I studied her for a moment, taking in the humility she hadn't shown before, the subtle anxiety beneath her composed exterior. So, this is it, she said quietly. We start the partnership, right? I shook my head slowly. Not yet. Her brow furrowed. Not yet. But, we agreed on everything. The terms, the transparency, the exit clause. Isn't that enough? I leaned back, letting the chair creak under me. It's enough for business. But for me, it's not just about contracts, Lena. Her mouth opened, then closed again. She seemed unsure whether to argue or wait. I decided to speak first. Do you know what this moment feels like for me? I asked, voice steady but quiet. Years ago, you laughed at my idea. Called me foolish. Told me I was wasting my time. I trusted you, and you dismissed me. That memory, it didn't fade. Her eyes flicked down. I know I hurt you. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. I exhaled sharply. I don't need your apology. I didn't need your approval to succeed. I only need my own. She blinked, caught off guard. I never thought. Exactly, I said, letting the words sink. You never thought. You underestimated me, just like you did back then. And yet, here I am. I built everything from scratch, faced every setback, and I didn't rely on you. Not once. Her lips pressed into a thin line, the confidence she usually wore like armor gone. I admire what you've done. I really do. And I want to be part of it. I studied her, weighing my options. I could humiliate her, remind her of every cruel word, make her feel the sting she had given me. Part of me wanted that, oh, how that part wanted it. But another, stronger part, the part one had forged through sleepless nights, through doubt, through every obstacle, knew better. This wasn't about revenge. This was about control, professionalism, and proving to myself that I could rise above bitterness. I've thought about this, I said finally. About whether to work with you. To let past wounds dictate my decisions. She leaned forward, hope flickering in her eyes. And I smiled faintly, carefully. I've decided. I won't let the past control me. I won't humiliate you. And I won't let pride blind me. I will work with you, but on my terms, professionally. That's it. Her shoulders relaxed slightly, but there was still tension. That's fair. I accept. Completely. I nodded. Good. Then here's the deal, you provide the support, the funding, the marketing. I retain full creative and strategic control. You follow the rules we agreed on. And if you break them, the partnership ends immediately. She nodded again, swallowing, clearly relieved. Understood. I won't break the rules. I promise. I leaned back, feeling a quiet surge of inner victory. This was more than a business decision. It was a demonstration of self-control, of emotional growth. I had the power, yes, but I chose to wield it with integrity. You know, she said softly, I never realized how strong you really are. I thought I knew, but I didn't. I see it now. I smiled faintly. Thank you. But you didn't need to see it. I knew. And that was enough. She looked at me for a long moment, as if searching for a trace of malice, of vindication. There was none. Only calm, measured confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you've earned every step. I hope. I can be trusted, she said, almost like a plea. You will be, I replied. If you follow the rules. Nothing more, nothing less. I won't give in to ego, and I won't give in to resentment. This partnership works, or it doesn't. It isn't about past mistakes. It's about present choices. She nodded, eyes glistening, and for the first time in a long time, I saw respect, genuine respect, untainted by arrogance. I exhaled, letting the tension leave me. The power had shifted long before this meeting. I had earned it through effort, perseverance, and clarity of purpose. Lena's request, her apology, her change in demeanor, it was irrelevant to my worth. I have one more thing to say, I added, quietly but firmly. I hope you learn from your past mistakes. And I hope, you see that underestimating someone doesn't make you clever, it just gives them a chance to prove you wrong. Her lips trembled, but she nodded. I understand. And I will remember. I leaned back one last time, feeling the weight of the moment settle. Pride mixed with satisfaction, tempered by restraint. I had chosen wisely, not revenge, not humiliation, but professionalism. Emotional victory. Self-realization. And as I looked at her, I realized something vital, the only validation I ever needed came from me. The power shift wasn't just external, it was internal. I whispered to myself, quietly, but with certainty, I am enough. I always was. I didn't need anyone's approval, least of all hers. She looked at me, still uncertain but willing. And in that moment, I knew, the choice I had made was the one that mattered most. The choice that defined me. Not anger. Not pride. Control. Integrity. And finally, freedom. The office was buzzing with energy, the kind that only comes from months of relentless work finally paying off. Nadia leaned over my shoulder, eyes sparkling, as we watched the live dashboard, users, sales, engagement, all climbing steadily. We did it, she said softly, almost in disbelief. Look at this. We built this from nothing. I smiled, though a quiet hum of pride ran deeper than the surface. Nothing, except all those sleepless nights, bad meals, and near breakdowns. She laughed. And don't forget the emotional roller coaster thanks to Lena. I chuckled, though it carried a hint of bitterness I had long since tamed. Yeah, her. But we survived. We grew. And here we are. The door opened, and Arjun walked in, his calm presence filling the room. "I see the empire is finally standing on its own 2 feet," he said, giving me a slow nod. "It's more than standing," I replied, leaning back. "It's thriving. And it feels real." Arjun smiled faintly. "You've learned a lot along the way, more than any textbook could teach. Resilience, patience, the subtle power of choosing your battles. Lena taught you more than she'll ever know." I smirked. "Funny, isn't it? The person who doubted me most ended up teaching me, indirectly." Nadia nudged me, eyes playful. "Indirectly or directly, you mean karma had a lesson plan?" I laughed quietly, shaking my head. "Karma, luck, persistence, call it whatever you like. It's all part of the same thing. I've grown. That's what matters." Arjun leaned on the desk, studying me. "And you've done it without letting bitterness rule you. That's rare." I glanced down at my hands, remembering nights spent pacing, doubting, cursing the world, and vowing revenge against Lena. I almost let it control me. I almost wanted to humiliate her. But then I realized my power wasn't in her suffering. It was in my own control, my own success. Nadia nodded. "You chose wisely. And it shows." I let out a deep breath. I used to think revenge would feel sweet. But now I know, victory is quiet. It's not in proving them wrong, it's in proving yourself right. She smiled warmly. "And you did. Every step of the way." The moment was interrupted by a notification ping on my phone. I opened it. "Lena." I paused before reading. Her message was short: "Can we talk? I owe you an explanation. I want to make things right." I stared at it, fingers hovering over the screen. Part of me wanted to reply immediately, to indulge in confrontation, to let her grovel. But another, stronger part, the part one had spent months cultivating, paused and thought. I put the phone down without replying. Silence. Control. That's what I needed, not her apologies. The past had no power over me anymore. Arjun, noticing my pause, raised an eyebrow. "Her?" "Yeah," I said slowly. "She's reaching out. Probably to salvage what she can, maybe for the partnership, maybe for pride. Doesn't matter." He nodded knowingly. "And it doesn't. You're beyond that now." I smiled faintly. "I am. It's funny. I used to measure myself against her approval, her opinion. Now, I measure myself by what I've built, by what I've overcome." Nadia placed a hand on my shoulder. "That's growth. That's maturity. That's you." I leaned back in my chair, letting the energy of the office wash over me. Celebrations were planned later, but for now, this quiet acknowledgement felt right. My company thrived. My vision was alive. And Lena's past arrogance had only fueled my rise. Weeks passed, and I watched from a distance as Lena's company struggled. Her missteps, poor decisions, and overconfidence finally caught up. The news feeds chronicled layoffs, PR disasters, and diminishing investor confidence. I read every headline, but instead of gloating, I felt something else. Closure. Not vindictive satisfaction, but calm acknowledgement that life has a way of balancing itself. Lena's downfall wasn't a spectacle I orchestrated, it was a consequence of her choices. I remembered my vow years ago, back when she laughed at me, "I will succeed, with or without her." And I had. Nadia leaned over the couch one evening, sipping coffee beside me. "You're at peace with all of it, aren't you?" I nodded, smiling faintly. "More than I thought I could be. I've learned that control, success, even revenge, they all mean nothing without moral clarity. Without choosing who you want to be in the process." Arjun, visiting that afternoon, chimed in. "And you've chosen wisely. You've turned betrayal into growth, doubt into determination, failure into triumph. I looked between them, the two anchors who had held me steady when the storms of self-doubt, financial risk, and emotional pain threatened to pull me under. I couldn't have done it alone. You both reminded me to keep perspective, to work smart, to survive and thrive without losing myself. Nadia smiled softly. And now? You're standing here, full circle. Not bitter, not broken. Stronger than ever. I exhaled, reflecting on every late night, every rejection, every laugh Lena had thrown at me, and every small victory that had followed. It's been a journey, a brutal, beautiful journey. And I think I finally understand what resilience truly means. A few weeks later, I saw her again, not formally, not for partnership, but at a networking event. Lena approached cautiously, her once arrogant demeanor replaced by a careful, almost hesitant respect. I've been following your progress, she said, voice low. You've done incredible things. I misjudged you. I looked at her calmly, the old anger replaced by quiet strength. Thank you, Lena. But this isn't about you anymore. It's about me. I learned from the past, but I didn't live there. I succeeded because of my choices, not because of your mistakes or approval. She nodded, swallowing hard. I see that now. I'm sorry. I offered a polite, small smile. Acknowledged. That's enough. The rest is life moving forward. Walking away, I realized how far I'd come, from the insecure dreamer who sought approval, to a confident entrepreneur who understood the true value of self-belief, moral clarity, and emotional control. Lena's arrogance, once a source of pain, had inadvertently shaped my journey, but my destiny had always been mine to claim. Nadia and Arjun joined me afterward, and we watched the sunset from the office terrace. We made it, Nadia said softly, eyes reflecting the golden light. I nodded, quiet satisfaction washing over me. We did. Every late night, every setback, it all led here. And I've learned the greatest lesson, the only validation I need comes from myself. Arjun smiled, placing a hand on my shoulder. And that, my friend, is the ultimate triumph. I looked out over the city, feeling the weight of the journey and the lightness of finally letting go. Betrayal had shaped me, but it had not defined me. I had grown, matured, and transformed. And for the first time, I felt truly free. Quietly, to myself, I whispered, I am enough. I always was. And now? I've proven it, not to anyone else, but to me. The skyline glowed orange and pink as the evening deepened. My company thrived. My team flourished. My past, well, it remained a reminder of what I had overcome. And in that full circle, I found peace, pride, and the certainty that my journey, flawed, painful, but undeniably mine, was complete.